took the life of your sister-in-law is which one? Bone.
People have heard that they're easy to judge. That if you do chemo, you're going to die. Take this one, take this one. So I was taking all those things and they were not working. And I needed to do the chemo. So by the time I decided I want to do chemo, everybody was like,
oh, too.
Yes, that me in the sense that I didn't want to stay alive because of my children. So let me be the one making the decision. And since my husband was not even around and it was the pandemic.
Your husband was not around? Dennis, they say that
before, if you ask me this question, tears will come out before you hear me talk.
Are you serious?
I was, how can I? The airport, every time she said she shut us down, when you send message, you're not getting feedback. She was really confused. Where she had to take that.
Like when you press
but before you traveled to Sierra Leone, you already knew.
She was on the alternative medicine.
Okay,
she was doing everything possible.
Yes, that was before he left because you had a job and because we need money for this journey. So since he got the ICT job in Sierra Leone, to just quickly go and deploy or something.
One of the apps I do.
Yes. On getting there was lockdown.
It was lockdown.
Yes. So I was by myself. So like, but he was not like, can't you wait for me? Let me come. I said, wait for you. There's lockdown. We don't even know when it's going to be lifted. And before burial. He said, I'm not trying to scare you, but he just has to be frank with me. So decide, you want to wait? Because what he's seeing is, the thing is advancing very fast, and because it's one of the most aggressive kind of cancer. So like, okay, so we have to make the decision. And if I'm asking people, my people around me, they'll be like, don't do it. Don't do it. Let us pray. Let us take this one, take this stem cell, take this this alternative therapy, take this one, take this one. So that's why I now shut them out. I wasn't talking to them anymore. I didn't even tell them when I started the treatment. When I went to take the first shot was when I came back and they were like, where did you go? I said, I went to do chemo. So I went to do chemo. So that was how the journey began. And at the first shot, the doctor called me. I was like, after a few hours, you start feeling, but don't be scared. You're a strong person. And this one. So a few days, like the next day, I was all over the place, throwing up, can't eat, just nothing goes down, can't eat anything. If you try to drink water, it's coming out. And I couldn't do anything. I told the doctor I'm not coming back. But he was very empathetic. Yes, towards me, encouraged me. Was on the phone with me for like 1 hour. Say, see, depression in cancer is what you cannot afford to have. You cannot afford to be depressed at this point. Just be strong, get out of it. After a few days, you feel better. And I felt better after a few days of that chemo. But chemo is every 3 weeks, and you have to go for like 6 months and do it.
Was it a private hospital? Because I know that there are not many cancer centers in Nigeria, are there?
They have some private ones. Those are very expensive, but like National Hospital was where.
That's where you went?
Yes.
Oh, so National Hospital is where you went to?
Yeah, National Hospital has like one of the best oncologists. Yeah. It's like all the oncologists in Abuja and in National Hospital. And yeah, that's where I did my chemo.
All right. So, how long did you get to battle this?
I would say it's a journey that I'm still going, because after the treatment, your chemo lasts. There's a chemo that lasts for 6 months. After then, you have like what they call the other one, targeted therapy that I had to take for 1 year because I was HER2 positive. I had to take HER2 positive cancer. There are different types. There are like
so I was just going to ask you to explain it in English.
There are different types of like about 3 different types of breast cancer, and that's one thing most people don't know. When I saw some people like, what type of breast cancer? I say, which one? Breast cancer and breast cancer. Like, no.
Yeah, I would have thought that.
No, they're like, are you a doctor? I said, I'm not a doctor, but at least I should know what is wrong with me. You should ask questions. So mine was HER2 positive. There are some you have double, triple negative, triple positive, 1 positive, like that. So, but mine was HER2 positive, and one doctor told me I chose the most expensive cancer. That like, it me that chose it.
Most expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, please, you can be part of this conversation by reaching us on our phone line, which is showing on your screen, 081 177 82020. That's our phone line. You can ask favor a question, or you can join the conversation. Tell us your cancer story in brief, if or maybe the story of some. If you're a survivor and you want to share with us your story, please do send a message via text message or WhatsApp to our phone line. Or do you have someone around you that is struggling with it? You want to also talk to us about it, or someone is worried and is thinking, I should go the herbal way, I should go the alternative way, or like something you said, stand in the middle of the road and drink. I don't think that thing have actually happened. No, it couldn't have happened. But I see people try to call. Please don't call. Just send text messages. All right. So, when you mentioned lockdown period, I take it that's 2020, but
Yes.
that wasn't when you started battling this, was it?
I was diagnosed in 2019.
2019.
Yes, but 2020 was when I started chemo. But from that 2019, I think October or so, that was when I was actually diagnosed. I did the first surgery. In 2020, around March, that was when I started chemo. After the chemo, I went for surgery. I had a full mastectomy, so they took out the breast.
Okay, they took out
The breast. Artificial.
Don't be deceived. Artificial.
Yes. It's artificial
Nothing
breast.
is
They
there.
took out the breast. Even early this year, I made up my mind that I want to have a double mastectomy, and they took out the second breast.
Yeah, because is it possible that it might spread or something?
Yes. The breast was giving me problem, although it was benign, and some people were like, "Don't remove it. The thing is benign. Is it your breast? I want to remove it." Like, though there's stigma attached to it, because when people around me that know, yes, be like, you can't be half person, be half body and everything. Some people say, you have cancerous genes. And some people just make some kind of comments that they don't know affects you psychologically. But I think I've grown thick skin.
Wow, you've indeed grown thick skin. You've indeed grown thick skin. I would like to hear your story a little, but maybe you want to share with us very briefly your sister-in-law story, because the bone is, I don't think it's a very common one, right? The bone marrow bone.
I think it's common, because
so like we know for breast cancer, you check for lump and everything. What do you check for? How does this happen?
We're both in this journey with her, trying to locate where the problem was coming. When I asked,
what was the feeling first of all to know that?
oh no, you don't want to go there.
the pain.
Okay, but
When I
like
was driving,
okay,
her late sister Gladys, any slight bump on the road,
Yes,
she
feels
screams.
the pain from the back.
She was blaming it on a split disc at the spinal cord. So we went to MRI, did all the scan, all sort of tests. They keep saying, oh, madam, it's your spinal cord, it's split. Okay, take this. We did all sort of scanning. We even sent some abroad for. We were planning to take her to India, and the money was not there. Towards the final stage, in UBTH or so, they discovered it was bone marrow cancer. Wow. Then she started
bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
Like,
you cannot still put here.
Like
you can't.
No, it's happened. Is that
The bone connects to the spinal cord, so
okay.
it started disintegrating
from there
from the spinal cord.
Because it's going to be confusing. That sometimes they say the way your sitting position is what's making your bone marrow, have. So yes. I mean, it wasn't.
Okay, when I was asking her if she could recall where this pain started, she said she was trying to raise up her stomach gate, then she felt like a snap on her back, and the pain lasted for a period of time. So she was thinking that could be the reason. Maybe that triggered.
No, I don't think so. One thing with cancer, it may just be growing silently. I think because that bone as it's growing, you will not know until it breaks the bone. Then that's when you will now know that
the bones
you
became
have
soft.
cancer. By then, it's already advanced stage. And that's the same thing with breast cancer. So the lump can just be there growing silently, especially for people that don't do their self breast examination. To just be growing, and that's what kills most people, late presentation. By the time you've gone to the hospital and they check, they see that the lump is now even too big, it's already advanced. The treatment now becomes difficult.
Some use faith.
Yes.
To delay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a quick message and we'll get back to the conversation. Mrs. Favor, please, is there anywhere I can access financial assistance? My friend is currently at the National Hospital. The cancer is stage 2, but there's no money for chemo. Did you? When did you? Of course, you face financial.
I faced a huge. When they told me that my treatment, one injection is 309,000, and I need to take it every 3 weeks. I need to take 18. So the doctor just told me do the maths. I was like, and that is not even for the full treatment. That's for just that particular injection. So I should calculate 309 times 18. That's close to 5-point-something million. They were like, how much do you have? Between me and my husband, we had like 40,000 naira. So like, I can't even start the treatment. But the doctor was so gracious. I was like, come and start the chemo, which is quite affordable first.
But the chemo is more affordable than the injection?
Yes, that injection is for HER2 positive cancer patients. Why did the other chemo is not as expensive, but it's about 100 or something thousand. Depends on the combination they are using for you. So I had to go online. Went to project Pink Blue. They helped me to
look at that, you when you didn't have your hair on.
Yes.
Who's this?
Friends, that's
okay. Some friends
that were
your child
supporting.
The first son, our first boy.
Wow.
This was very chemo.
Like Favor, your hair was like
everything was falling apart.
Nothing comes up.
Like it was chemo. Actually just falling off.
My nails were turning black. Yeah, that's
a very good friend.
She always comes to me to anytime we're doing I'm going for chemo, they go with me.
People keep calling. I know people want to, I understand. You want to speak to Favor, but sorry, it's just a text and a WhatsApp only. Send it as much as possible. I'll see the much I can read. Let me read a few. Good day, my name is Udwak Michael. I want to ask, is there any potential effects or cancer potential after a girl did breast tumor surgery? I don't get it. Let me see. Please, I want to ask, is there any potential effects or cancer potential after a girl did breast tumor surgery?
As in, is she trying to say if you take out a lump, then you now have cancer because you took out the lump?
Yes, it's not clear. Maybe you want to send a message again. Okay, someone is asking a question I'm not going to read on. Sorry, you didn't even write your name, so that's good. Who is this? I really don't get what you are saying. Okay. Now, I admire the couple. My question is, please, what are the causes of breast cancer? And can it be transferred genetically? All right. So what did the doctor tell you?
Yeah, people think that, yes, there's family history of cancer. There are some people, but mine, there was really no family history of cancer in my family. So I asked the doctor, what did I do wrong? I'm a fitness person. When I'm pregnant, you see me jogging. I don't compromise on healthy eating. So what caused my own? They say if you are breastfeeding, it prevents breast cancer. I did breastfeed. I breastfed exclusively. I don't joke with it till 18 months. So what caused mine?
So what caused
So it was like, sometimes you can't really know. You can't really know. It's free radicals. Some cells will just go out of hand and just go and start. So it can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. All right, let's see the much you can take. I'd like to, please, don't call. I'm trying to read your messages. And once again, our phone line is 081 177 82020. It's showing on your screen, and it's text or WhatsApp only number. My name is Mohammed Kolo. Please tell Favor that she is indeed favored.
Amen.
Please tell us where you're writing from. That she has survived and is exhibiting this great faith in self, God, and survival is indeed a testimony to be favored. Please let her remain focused. She's an inspiration to many. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Amen.
All right, Mohammed Kolo, thank you very much too for that one. Favor indeed. It says you are favored. Your name is just following you. I'm currently. Good afternoon, ma. I'm currently watching, and someone is calling. I'm currently watching your show with Mrs. Favor. Please, I really appreciate the fact that you are alive, and I pray that you continue to grow in all areas of your life.
Amen.
You got through cancer, and you have overcome, so you will be blessed. Okay.
Amen.
All right. So it's good to have this encouraging words. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to WhatsApp. Okay. WhatsApp. My name is Mrs. Iyeyemi. What is the meaning of chemo, and what are the early signs of breast cancer? Well, for the
chemotherapy is a treatment, just like you have medicine for malaria. Chemotherapy is like medicine for cancer, and there are different types. And then
that's when you go through that whole radiation, that thing.
No, that's radiotherapy. After you've done
radiotherapy.
Chemotherapy, then you now do radiotherapy. Radiotherapy is after chemo. Then maybe sometimes they need to do radiotherapy before they take out the breast, or after they take out the breast. Mine was after they took out the breast. I went through 6 weeks of radiotherapy. That period, you don't let water touch that spot. At some point, there was a small sweat that just touched mine, and it was so bad that it's like they poured hot water on me. It could not heal until I'd finished radiotherapy. When they take out the lump, they now need to test it to know if it's cancerous or benign.
Okay.
So if it's benign, then there's
benign
no
means
there.
it's not cancerous.
Cancer, yes. If it's cancerous, they'll say it's malignant.
It's malignant.
Yes,
okay.
and when they take it out at that point, you need to start treatment like immediately, otherwise the cancer grows back from that spot, and sometimes it starts growing faster than before.
Okay. My name, Miriam by name. Miriam, where are you writing from? Ma'am, you said you were breastfeeding when you first felt the lump.
Yes.
Hope the cancer does not have effect on the baby.
No, those are part of the stigma we get. People will be like, they feel like cancer is transferred to other people. So sometimes when I sit close to people that know that I was a survivor, they want to like shift so that it's not my portion, because I want to be close to a cancer patient. I may now have cancer.
Yes, can you imagine?
Yes.
But then it's you were so close to her. Were you not afraid you were going to get cancer?
No.
I know, kidding.
Yeah, true.
I even remember that period. We even had I had COVID at some point too. People were like,
she passed out.
Yes, people were like, this one, she's going to just die, because people with cancer, once you have COVID, yes, you can hardly make it. But well, I thank God I'm here.
Well, you've got quite a story. COVID and cancer, and during the period, any hospitals were very,
yes,
careful.
But I have to go out. I have to go and do my treatment. Even some of the nurses were now shielding themselves. They don't want to be close to patients, because patients were transferring COVID to the doctors and to the nurses. So.
Okay, Favor, we have so many messages, and my phone line is almost crashing my phone right now. So we'll just take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll continue our discussion with Favor.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
break to take a breather from the story Favor has been telling us. I mean, I really hate to bring you the person stories, but sometimes we need to learn some of these things, how to take care of our health and so much. And I appreciate the fact that you are reaching us on our phone line 081-177-82020. For those of you trying to call, I will not pick your call. Just send a message. Send a message. His WhatsApp and text message only. Like you, 0904. You know yourself. Please don't call. All right. Joining us on set, we have a family physician who will join this conversation, and this time he will take it wider. We'll look at other areas, other conditions, other ailments as we get on with the rest of the program. Dr. Emeka, that your surname is tongue twisting for Ekwe
Belam.
Ekwe Belam.
Yes.
Oh, it's a B. Okay, Ekwe Belam. Nice to have you.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Family physicians, you are the ones that check that. What exactly do family physicians do?
Well, family physicians, we take care of the family in totality, in general. So
In
from
general.
cradle to grave, we take care of, cut across all the levels of the family, from the child to the grandparents.
Yes. He's a gentle talker. He's speaking so, but all right, it's okay. Now this is the thing. I want to know how you come into a case like hers. She just one day suddenly felt she had a lump, and she comes to meet a physician like you. So is that part of what at the first stage of breast cancer, for instance? I don't know what it is. I just know I felt a lump. Oh my, let me call my family physician. I got to call you. So how do you take it from there?
Okay, well, as a family physician, like I said, we are caregivers. That's the first thing. So on arrival, you describe first, you want to be sure that you have a lump. And you say, okay, we now want to know where the location of this lump is. So from there, we now want you to, how did you find out about it? Was it from self-breast examination, or is it from your partner? Or, is it an incidental finding, probably when you are having your bath or something? So we'll now take the history surrounding it. So for a lady, how old are you, please?
I'm 40 now.
Okay, 40. Okay.
But when she discovered she was less
37.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we now want to start asking questions. Now, one of the questions we want to find out is, first, is it the lump that you noticed first, or was there any discharge from your nipple?
I was even breastfeeding.
Yes, or you were breastfeeding. Now, what is the shape of the breast? Are there any physical changes surrounding the outside of the breast, of which we call more like dimpling? Yeah, dimpling. We want to find out, okay, yes, if there was. Now, what was the breast milk that was coming out? Was it bloody? Was it clear fluid? Then apart from that, you still want to find out, okay, apart from this breast, is it also on this other side of the breast? You want to know if there's a family history. Then you want to further to find out. Yes.
That's the whole that's the whole lot. Anyhow, she's
Can I ask the doctor?
Okay, please.
They said if you're breastfeeding, you cannot have lump.
If you're breastfeeding,
You can't have lump, and when
lump.
you breastfeed, it prevents breast cancer.
Well, yes, it's one of the preventive measures, but the physiology or the anatomy surrounding the breast is simple. There are fatty tissues, then there are lobules, of which are just, they're like pockets of lobules of then there are ducts. So those ducts are like the straws that take them to the nipple. Then from the nipple, you now start breastfeeding.
So which means it's not 100% true that
it's not 100%, because if before then one of the lobules or one of the ducts was affected, probably at that period it has not become invasive. It doesn't spread to other parts. So at that point, yes, but at that point it is already there. It is already established. So from there it can progress.
Guys,
but if it wasn't there,
let's do this.
Okay.
These my people, they are my very people. My people in whom I well pray, please. They have thousands, hundreds of questions right now. So let's see what you can take. Then, doctor, if there's some that you want to react to, do that very, very quickly. I've taken WhatsApp earlier. Let me go to text messages. Let me see those who sent earlier. Good afternoon. Oh my God. Okay, let's start from this one. All right, let's do this. Good day, Mrs. Favor, watching your show. I just want to I want to know how you, please, I want to know how you do to get to be so positive. I want to know how you stay positive. But let's pause, just note that. Let's take another one. Good afternoon. I have two people that have breast cancer. Can I get the record CD of this program on cancer? Yeah, you can get to watch the program on YouTube. To be uploaded on YouTube. You can on NTA series. Good afternoon, my name is Obinna Victoria. I'm also a breastfeeding mother. How will someone know if you have cancer when you're breastfeeding? I don't know if you can tell us this, but you really, okay, you just said you noticed it.
Yes, I felt the lump, and I knew that it was lump.
All right,
so I went to the hospital and confirmed that it was a lump.
Okay, Moses, hello ma. What's the meaning of HIV? Seriously. Okay. Well, just tell us about HIV. Human immune virus. Yeah.
Human immune deficiency.
Yeah, immune deficiency virus. So, well, you can just Google that one. We're not taking that today, so just please pause on that. We just want to take as many as possible. Just want to thank God for your life. May the good Lord continue to keep you strong and in good health. God is good. He is wonderful. Edwin from the Delta State. Hello, I am with you. My question about the cancer. How can you know that you have cancer? My name is Gagure. How can you know that you have cancer? Now that's another thing, because she has a sister-in-law who died of cancer, and so it says cancer of the bone marrow. And when we try to I was trying to ask what kind of, like for breast, we know you check for a lump. For some like bone marrow, what are you looking out for? Because it's maybe your spinal cord, and sometimes they tell you the way you sit, maybe your back will be aching. I don't want to mistake that. I don't, because of that, I don't start feeling like, hey, am I having bone marrow cancer now? Take it quickly.
Okay, well, when you talk about cancers, first, let me start with the word tumors. Tumors it could be benign. That means it's not life-threatening. It's not life-threatening. It's not going to kill. And it could be cancerous, malignant, like it described in medicine. And what that means is an abnormal growth that has lost control. The body can no longer control it. So some of these cancers, they have risk factors. So it depends on the type of cancer that we're talking about. The commonest risk factor probably is there family history. Is there an abnormal gene mutation? Is it race? Some people, just the mere fact that you're black, and you stand a risk of certain diseases and certain
tell us, pause on that one. Tell us, just for the fact that you're black, what are some of the common ones for those of us black? Besides cancer.
Well, there are a lot of them. Let's start from the males. Prostate cancers, all the prostates, those ones. The fact that you're black, you're at risk of it. Even the fibroid that's common in women too, it's more common in blacks than it is in the Caucasians. So you see, that's a risk factor that you cannot rule out. It is non-modifiable. We have the modifiable. Then right into your lifestyle. What do? Do you take a lot of alcohol? Do you smoke? Your diet, there's sedentary lifestyles. Do you take some drugs or medications that could predispose you to some of this, like people that take a lot of hormonal contraceptives, they are at risk of certain illnesses. So it's quite a huge risk factor. So for cancers, like I say, if you have some of these risk factors, you're already at risk of it. So your lifestyle can now fasten the process of it coming out. And some of these things you don't really have control over them. But there are symptoms that you look out for, like somebody that has bone cancer. That means the bone marrow, which is supposed to be producing blood. What
did the person do? It's not the person's fault. Anyhow, let's just pause there. It's really, I'm having so many questions to ask you. Why is it that it's blacks, Africans, that we have the ASSS and everything? When you're out there, they tell you that in advanced class, they don't do all those. ASS, there's nothing like AS and all those stuff there. It's here we're so concerned about it. When you talk about lifestyle, let's take a look at some of the things we eat that may trigger cases like cancer. I know you just mentioned a couple of them. Let's take a look at it in this feature, and then Dr. Emeka and Favor will be back for the last lap of the program, and then I'll read your messages, of course.
According to the the World Health Organization, Africa records around 1.1 million new cases of cancer, resulting in up to 700,000 deaths each year. Meat such as beef, fish, pork or chicken that is cooked above 300 degrees Fahrenheit forms a harmful chemical that puts people's health at a higher risk of diseases. The WHO has classified processed meat, which includes smoked meat, as group 1 carcinogenic based on evidence of its link to colorectal cancer. For oils that are extracted artificially from vegetables, which have some mix of hydrogen preservatives, increase the risk of cancer among its consumers. Harvard School of Public Health says that trans fat, that is in hydrogenated oil, also promotes inflammation and immune system overactivity. This has been linked to health issues that include heart diseases, diabetes, and cancer. Did you know that cans of processed foods contain chemical compounds that increase the risk of having breast cancer or prostate cancer? The Harvard Health Publishing School says that every 10% increase in consumption of ultra-processed foods was associated with a 12% higher risk for cancer in general and an 11% increase in the risk for breast cancer. Taking in too much food, soft and alcoholic drinks that contain a lot of sugar can also lead to weight gain and increase the risk of obesity and diabetes, which may increase the risk of cancer. The World Cancer Research Fund and the American Institute for Cancer Research say that being overweight or obese throughout adulthood is associated with an increased risk of 12 different cancers. Eating a healthy diet that is full of nutrients will not only improve your health, but will also help reduce the risk of developing stomach.
Okay. Favor and Doctor are already having their patient and doctor session on set, and many of you are still calling. But you know what? Let's see. Doctor, I know that we were supposed to discuss other areas of general health, but from the messages coming in, they are all on the cancer. So let's just see how we can take a number of these ones. There's someone that was asking you a question. No, I can't find it anymore. Please relate my question to doctor. Oh, okay. I think we've taken this already. But the question we have, please, I want to ask: is there any potential effect or cancer potential after he gets a gradual breast surgery? I mean, so we've asked the question already. We want to know if you get this breast surgery, can the person get cancer again quickly?
Okay. Well, it depends on the type of surgery that you did, because there are several surgeries for breast cancer. We have the lumpectomy, of which they just go in and remove the lump. We have the mastectomy, of which they just go and remove the breast. We have the radical, of which they also remove part of the lymph nodes because it has spread to those parts. Then there are also prophylactic and reconstructive mastectomy that you could do. Prophylaxis is you just want to remove the other breast so that it doesn't transfer to the other one. And we also have the reconstructive, where you want to just form the breast back so that the woman won't feel that she doesn't have
okay, that's an expensive.
So now it depends on the level of on the type of surgery, like I said, and the level of spread or the stage of the disease too.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. Good afternoon, sir. So I'm Comrade Christian, watching a program from Makodi, Benue State. I have this question: what is chemotherapy of a thing? Is it only done for breast cancer? Chemo. I know chemo. People are asking about chemo. You know, I just asked you. Chemo is. I used to think it's a radiation thing.
No, it's not radiation thing. There are different levels of treatment for cancer or for breast cancer. You know, we have the surgery, we have the radiotherapy, we have the chemotherapy, we have the. So you want to know the chemo? Tell us.
You know, break it down in as simple terms as possible. When I say the chemo, exactly what it is. Yes, for the radiotherapy, we know that's when you go into that light thing, and so in simple terms, that chemo. What exactly is it?
Well, chemo, these are medical drugs that you give most times to shrink. Yes, it's drugs that you give to shrink the size. Most times it's given to shrink the size of the mass before you go into surgery. And for the radiotherapy, most times is done after the surgery, just to kill some of the cells.
Very simple, like the way you just answered it.
They will now have the hormonal therapy. Some of these cancers, they could be estrogen or progesterone sensitive and some other. So you now use the hormonal therapy, or you could now combine all these therapies in the treatment of breast cancer.
Okay, my name is Emmanuel from Lagos. Help me ask Dr. Emeka, what are the common signs of breast cancer? Oh, Goga, we've talked about breast cancer now. We've talked about the signs. They say you should check for lumps. Okay, someone was asking, I've missed that question already. Someone was asking if, did your husband, was he also helping you check for the lumps? Say that because some ladies don't allow men to touch their breast. Someone asked the question actually.
I actually saw the lump and I showed it to him to feel it. Like, this is a lump. It was like, it's true, it feels like a lump. And then he checked other places for me to feel that is the only one that was there.
Okay. Good day. My name is Mary from Abuja. I'm really enjoying your program. God bless you guys. Hello, my name. Thank you for survival. But I want to ask, what are the causes of cancer? Not only breast in general, human body, and how to detect early. Maxwell Onoka from Enugu. Cancers are many. So how does that? Because that's the program starts. Maybe you don't tell us about besides breast. Now let's leave the breast. Tell us some others. We know this guy, Sultan. He died of, I think it's throat or something. How do I know that? Then there is the one of the blood. That's the one that this guy back it up leukemia. Okay, that leukemia back it up was the skin, right? I don't know what that is called. Then there's leukemia. So how do people get to detect this early? Because suddenly you guys are telling that you have to wait till stage 3 or stage 4. We want to detect early. How?
Well, before we talk about the screening exercises, because for cancers the most important thing is the screening exercises that you do to detect, if the person is at risk of some of these illnesses. You want to find out, you want to grab it, you want to discover it very early before it gets to a more malignant or a more irreversible stage. So, but before then, what are the risk factors? Like I talked about, there are modifiable, there are non-modifiable. Modifiable, there are illnesses, there are cancers that are peculiar to women, there are those that are peculiar to men. So your sex is already a risk factor. Being a woman, being a man, you're already at risk. Age is already a risk factor. At what age? There are cancers, yes, there are cancers that are, like for women, it's okay from 45 to 50 start to
you see women 25 with breast cancer.
I am really enjoying this conversation. I'm picking up very well.
But these are just the basics. These are just the basics. At 45, 50, if you come to the
because
hospital,
we said that a woman, you cannot do mammogram until you're 40. So how will you now test to know if you have cancer when you are 25? You say you can't do mammogram.
We are running out of time. We are practically out of time, not even running out of time. And there are hundreds, there are so many messages here I can't take. But this is very funny. I am not laughing. Watch me, I am not laughing. This person said, please ma'am, if you are involved in a fight and the person bites you or hits your breast and then there's a bruise, can it lead to cancer? Of course, you can't. I know that one, that no, but you just need to still keep checking out for these things.
You should be thinking of something else.
For those of you asking, for those of you who would like to watch this again, I would like to actually enjoy you to do watch it again. Visit NTA series on our YouTube page and look for our program, The Medley Show, and you'll get to see this episode. Just watch it from tomorrow; it will be there. All right. So, Favor.
Yes, I would like to answer one question that you asked, that how do I stay so positive about it, like my final words. Yes, cancer, people, there's a misconception that when you have cancer it's a death sentence, but when you make up your mind that you're going to fight it and stay positive about it, just make up your mind, encourage yourself, and then you can actually do it.
So do you say you're out of it now, or you're just like,
there's this mental health issues, psychological issues, and sometimes I'll just break down, but most times, because when I see my children and see people that love me around me, it gives me I want to keep
last note, I'm very, very briefly from you. Yes, so how do you stay safe, stay healthy generally?
Okay, generally, first, lifestyle is very important in medicine. You must watch your weight. Your weight is very important. So you should try as much as possible to cut weight, because there are a lot of issues surrounding excess weight. Your diet is very important. We prefer more green diet. Stop smoking entirely, cut down on alcohol, try and sleep more.
Doctor, are you sure you don't take alcohol? I suspect this. Guys, thank you very much for doing this with us. We don't have so much time already. Thank you very much for sending your messages. I appreciate it. I love you. Let's do this again in another 7 days.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV Channel 251, GoTV Channel 91, Preview UK Channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
In my society, there are several ways of shouting yay. You say yay, people will run. You say yay, they will dance. In the same way, we can still say what we want to say, which is the truth, without ruffling anybody's feather. You see, it's a matter of presentation.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Your health in your hands, Africa's #1 rated health TV show, numero uno, as I like to say. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation. Today we're going to be talking about the elderly. That means those in their, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, 60 doesn't even qualify for elderly. We're talking about those who are set in the 70s and beyond. As you know, Nigeria and other African countries, not in terms of life expectancy, we're not doing really well at all. In fact, Nigeria, out of 54 countries, we are like number 3 when it comes to worst life expectancies. 54 countries in Africa, well, I think the average life expectancy is about 54 years of age. Compare that with the US or Japan, where it's 80s and above. Although in recent time, because of coronavirus, the numbers have kind of slipped a little bit. But it's 80, compare 80 with 54, 55, that's terrible. However, we are beginning to see more and more of our parents and grandparents live longer. So that's a good trend. What that means is that we need to start paying attention to the health needs of the elderly people, because this is, for many of us, this is really uncharted territory. I don't think we had any. I don't remember rotating through in medical school, rotating through any specific classes on geriatrics, which is the study and the treatment of elderly people. So this is a new concept for many of us, and so that's why I'm really, really happy to have my friend, classmate, former classmate in medical school, who is actually a geriatrician, which means he treats he focuses on treats the elderly people and their conditions, disease conditions, and of course helps them maximize their elderly life. So without much further ado, I'm going to say welcome, Dr. Adekunle Adedeji. How are you, sir?
Very well. Good evening, Dr. Ajibade. Good evening, viewers. Appreciate you having me on your program.
Thank you. All right, so now that we've dispensed with the formalities, Yakune to me, I'm Dio to you. Right. Absolutely. So again, I appreciate you coming on the show. Our goal, as you know, and you and I have had several discussions on this, is to really break things down. We're not going to talk. This is not about talking medical stuff as much as it is about the insights, the tips, the principles, and the tools that we can pass along to the man on the street, the man who knows nothing about medications and medical health and longevity and all those things, so that they can know what to do, and probably even more importantly, what to avoid when it comes to even starting from their youth and their 40s and 50s, so that when it becomes 60, 70, and 80, they won't regret, why I did this, or why I didn't do this. So let's start with the first question. What are some of the things that you consider to be common mistakes people make in their earlier years that comes back and affects them adversely in their later years?
Okay, thank you. So I think looking at that, I would approach it from what the system does to us and what individuals would do to themselves. So what we have, especially in Nigeria, is a system that has not given a lot of attention to the elderly. It's a system that does not prepare the youth for when they become 65, 75, 85. And, like you said in your introduction, it may be because we have somehow agreed with the life expectancy that we see, and we think, okay, yeah, if they can get to 70, then we're good. So I think some of the common mistakes that the system has allowed is not to have a good screening system for diseases that come as you grow older. We may have the facilities to do it, but we have not emphasized for the people to check that out. So because when you are 50, for example, and nothing is done to check for colon cancer, for example, it may start developing at 50. It may not show its face until 65. So the person developed a polyp, which is a little ball in the intestine that grows to become cancer. It takes about 10 years, averagely, to get to that point. And so if we don't take care of that at 50, it will manifest in the 60s. If we don't find it in the 60s, it will manifest in the 70s. So it looks like it happened in old age, but it started in the mid 50s, the 60s, and then it manifests when the person is 80, 90. The same thing goes for all these other things that can be screened. Prostate cancer is another one. Breast cancer is another one. These things can be screened early enough and identified and treated before it becomes, a real clinical problem. So I think that's one big thing that we have not done well at. And I know there has been changes. I know things are better than before, but we can still do a lot more. And that's from the systemic, the system. But from the individual aspect is also taking care of ourselves. When we take care of ourselves when we're young, then what we find as we grow older is that we can resist diseases. When we do exercises, when we take supplements that helps to build up our immunity, when we eat the right kind of food, when we go to the doctor to make sure that our blood pressure, for example, is good, that is individual. We don't, even if the system is not there, we can go and say, I want this checked, I want this checked. And when we do that, we find out that we can prevent so many things. Or if something happens, we're strong enough to fight those diseases. So I think for your question, it would be from a preventive standpoint. And we have to imbibe that habit or make that a culture where we're able to check things out. So for example, the blood pressure, same thing with the screening. If your blood pressure is high, you may keep a blood pressure high for many, many years. And then one day the person gets a stroke. But we forget that they started 10 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago, and nobody paid attention to it. So looking at those things, what we feed ourselves, what we do to our bodies, what we do to our teeth, for example. We have, if the teeth is bad, you already set up for problems. If you
say a little bit more about that, because as you know, we've had Dr. Wadara on the show too to talk about teeth issues. But let's talk about it from your perspective.
Okay, so from my perspective, so we have the mouth that, of course, is the gateway to feeding us, to making us healthy. If we eat the right thing, we're healthy. If we take the right medication, we're not healthy. So look at the teeth. The teeth is responsible for chewing and making sure that we start digestion very well. If we are not taking care of that very well, and then we end up with little or no teeth, then what we can eat begins to reduce, especially in a culture where we have a lot of chewing to do when we eat. It becomes very difficult to really eat well. Medication is another part. The kind of medications you take affects your mouth, your teeth. And people need to know that we need to ask questions about the medications they're giving us. Will it affect your dental structure? Will it affect the teeth? And if it will, what are the things that you can do to prevent that? Do you have any examples on that medication that will affect the teeth? For sure. Things like a seizure medicine, phenytoin for sure would affect the teeth. Diuretics, which is blood pressure medication that we take. So for example, in Nigeria, we take a lot of diuretics. That helps track the real results. Right. Some levels, yeah. Exactly. So it may not be directly impacting the teeth itself, but what it does to the mouth in general, the dryness, that would eventually affect the teeth. And we just need to know that. If we know that, okay, maybe what can I do? Do I need to drink more water? Do I need to moisten my mouth? Can the doctor change the medications? So knowledge about these medications, very, very important. People who have asthma, for example, and they do a lot of inhalation, steroid in their mouth, they need to know. If we have knowledge of those things, then you can ask questions on what can you do to make that better or to avoid those problems.
I like that. Those are really good points. And when we're saying about colon cancer, especially when that starts 10, 15 years in advance. So having people have those regular checkups, especially after the age of 50, is super important. And it's not that even for black people, they even recommend it starting as early as 45, because it seems 45 to be worse among the black people. I don't know what it is really about us. Why is everything affecting black people so much? I don't get it.
One of the things is that we are late in starting things, and so these guys go on data, right? They go on history, so we find out that we can't really give a good data of what we have done, and so there's going to be a lot of assumption. Okay, if you guys don't have it, then we'll give you the worst. So, for example, if we find colon cancer at stage 4 all the time, then it becomes a problem versus the people who are able to find a polyp that is not cancerous and deal with it. And so they assume that, okay, you guys, it's too aggressive or you're missing something. So let's do it earlier. If a lot of people are getting this later stage disease, so let's do it earlier. So they have all kinds of reasons for that. But I think for us is to get in and at least do something. There's simple tests that we can do, like blood in the stool, that may not even be as invasive, they may not be as expensive. If the government can come in and say, okay, let's make this one of the things we do. Let's make mammogram one of the things we do. Primary health care, that we have all these primary health centers. How many of them are able to do mammograms? How many of them are able to give a little stool card? If we can't do colonoscopy, at least we can give a stool card, and we can start from there.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break now. A brief commercial break. When you come back, folks, there's a video about me speaking with some elderly people in the 8th decades. The youngest person there is probably 75 or 76. So just to buttress some of the tips and ideas that we're trying to pass across here. So we shall see you after the break. God bless.
Okay.
Hey everyone, Dr. David here, and I am with some remarkable people. We're playing cards, and to be on this table, you have to be able to buy in. You probably have to be like 8 decades or thereabouts. So I'm lucky to be here. So I'm going to kind of when we go around the table, I'm going to talk about, each person is going to say their age and 2 or 3 or more secrets they have. They can share with you for how to live a long, healthy, happy life kind of thing. So we're going to start with Jen. Well, you're not even 80 yourself too, but tell us how old you are.
I'm the young one here. I'm only 70. Well, David's younger, but I'm 75. And I just look at the positive. I enjoy life. I have so many friends, so many things to do. My schedule is way too busy, but I love it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm Nancy. I'm 81, and I try and eat healthy and exercise and just walk as much as I can and keep busy.
79 years old. I enjoy life. I have a home in Seattle. I have a home down here in Yuma, Arizona. I stay busy. I think that's one of the most key important parts of this whole thing of longevity is being active.
And having a good sense of humor too, right?
Pardon me?
Having a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well, I have a good sense of humor, yeah. That's just part of life. If you don't have a good sense of humor, you're not having fun.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Jan.
I'm Jan, and I'm 81, and I've never drank or never smoked. I think positive. I love life. I'm happy all the time. I work hard. And I don't sit around much. I don't watch TV a whole lot, but I love to be with people.
That's about it for me. Well, you keep yourself really busy with all the tools and repair
And helping the neighbors.
and helping the neighbors. There you go.
And the doctor.
I'm running over the hill and I stay active. I brush my teeth every morning and I drink healthy.
How old are you?
How old?
Way over.
Well, you're not gonna tell.
You're not gonna get away.
I don't have that many
80s,
fingers in the
right?
fingers.
86. Okay. Well,
And he's up on the roof when he shouldn't be.
that's right. He's up on you. All right. Well, thank you, Lucky. Okay, so back to me. Thank you, everyone. This is really, I got it to say, I'm telling Jan, remarkable. I'm in awe, really, of everybody and how active they are. I see Lucky rising up from the couch, and he's like, he gets up sprier than I can. I mean, he gets up easier than I can from the couch, and I'm a little over half his age. So this is really remarkable. I hope we can share learn some of these lessons back home and apply for some of them. So thank you for listening. Bye.
All right, welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed that short clip. Those were really interesting people. I remember one of them was on the rooftop. He was fixing his roof at 87. I'm like, what in the world? We would never allow that in Nigeria. So anyway, so let's talk about, I'm here with Dr. Adedeji. By the way, my apologies. What is the name of your practice in, El Paso, Texas, USA?
Oh, my office is called Kingsway Medical Center. We're in El Paso, Texas, and I am an attending physician at the Hospitals of Providence and Las Palmas del Sol, both in El Paso, Texas. So I do geriatrics and some general medicine.
Nice. Love it. All right, let's get back into it. I wanted us to take our attention back a little bit to what you mentioned about colon cancer, starting like many years before it eventually manifests. And that sparks my memory, my thoughts about things like dementia. Dementia when the brain and the memory begin to fail. What we know is that happens on average 2 decades, 20 years before it eventually begins to manifest. Things begin to go wrong in the brain. And unfortunately, we don't have some would refer to as a cognoscopy, as opposed to a colonoscopy. A cognoscopy where they constantly check your memory and mental health ability to see how well you are performing for your age. So I think that's an important thing, especially as our parents and grandparents are growing older these days, right?
It is, and I think one of the problems we have, going back to talking about the life expectancy, one of our limitation is that we've had we have not had a lot of people getting to that age bracket where we would identify this as a big problem. We have a lot of misconceptions, when we see somebody with cognitive impairment and we think they're witches, we think they're just saying things, and we do things that we're not supposed to do. So dementia is real. It's a struggle anywhere in the world. It's a struggle in the Western world. It's going to be a struggle in Nigeria or in Africa as a whole. I think the first thing is to identify and know that it is there, and to be able to understand that this is not a crazy person. This is not a person that is pretending, because that happens with family members anywhere. This is not limited to our culture anywhere. If you're used to somebody being active and all of a sudden they're misbehaving, or they're telling you that you came in and stole something from their house because they forgot where they placed stuff, then the first thing is to know that these things exist, and then how to start identifying the things you see, which we call symptoms. The symptoms that you see, how do you identify that, and then what are the treatment options? How do you support that? So going to prevention again. Some little medical mission once in a while, and I go to rural Nigeria. At least 70%, and that is being very, very conservative. At least 70% will have uncontrolled blood pressure, Out of that 70%, I can tell you that another 50% out of that 70% would only get medication when a team like that goes there. And so if you are not giving them medication for the year, you are not really treating their blood pressure. How does that affect dementia? People with blood pressure, high blood pressure, would have what we call mini strokes. Would have little spots in their brain that over years turn out to be what we call vascular dementia, because they've had a lot of tiny strokes which did not manifest as a stroke the way we know it, which is, you have some paralysis of the limbs, they can't talk and all that, but it's structurally happening in the brain. And over the years, that becomes, a reason for somebody to have some kind of cognitive impairment. That is one. The other things, vitamin B12 deficiency can cause a kind of dementia. Thyroid deficiency can cause a kind of dementia. So all this versus, the popular Alzheimer's dementia that we all know about. There are all these other things that can happen and cause symptoms of dementia. So if we're able to take care of those things, so if we reduce the number of people with uncontrolled hypertension, then we reduce the number of people with vascular dementia, for example. If we take care of our patients, or of our family members, if family members know to go to the doctors, if they were going to the doctors at 40s, at 50s, at 60s, it's no longer a problem to go to the doctor at 70. But if we are not used to doing that, then to wake up at 70 and start going to the doctor when you haven't done it for 70 years, it becomes a problem. So if we prevent things and we're able to, go ahead.
It's so easy. What the things you're mentioning, they're so simple and straightforward. That's the whole idea of a penny of prevention and how does, I don't know how the story goes, but the saying goes that a penny of prevention can save a pound of cure or something like that. Because this will reiterate some of the things he has said to folks. Ensure you're taking your medication if you have high blood pressure. If you have high blood sugar, you need to take your medication as well, because that can also compromise the brain. But you mentioned things like vitamin B12, for instance. That's it's linked to what is known as homocysteine, which can affect brain deterioration. Other things I want to mention too are things like vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, which is known to be the most important mineral for the brain, magnesium. So some vitamins have these things, but they don't have it in the right amounts. But even if you're taking them, if the least you can do is just take a multivitamin. Don't think that because you are eating a balanced diet, you're having everything. There's a lot in this modern day. That balanced diet is not what it used to be 50 years ago. So you do need to be taking some kind of supplementation. And if you start with the multivitamin, that'll be great. You need more vitamin D, like we talked about. We also know that potassium is lacking in a lot of elderly people. The older you get, the less potassium you have in your body. Potassium is extremely important for the cardiovascular system. So these are really important things, that I think you pointed out. And I hope in our next session, I hope we can talk about some more, because it seems like my producer is saying that the time is up. So I want to say a big thank you for this time you've taken for us to do this, and please be sure to show up again next week so we can continue this discussion.
Thank you, Bayo.
Any final words you want to give our viewers?
I think our viewers, everybody wants to be healthy, everybody wants the best. We need to do some work towards it individually, and we hope that our government also will help in bringing some of these things in place. But like you said, the least we can do is to make sure that we take our supplements. I think it's very important and maybe next week we'll talk about that more. But I think, like you said, that single multivitamins, yes, it may not have the amount that you need, but that's the first step. And then we can now deal with how much you need, how to find out how much you need, and then hopefully we can do that next session.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And thank you both for joining us. We will see you again next week. God bless. Bye.
NTA, you can't reach.
Thank you.